Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on in, everybody. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Happy Friday to you. Thanks for being with us. Less than a month away from college football kicking off. That's all I have to report for you, JJ. Good
That's
night,
all
everybody.
we need to know. Have a good weekend, everyone.
And it's week 0, I know.
Look, I know everyone's checked out until then. I get it. But we're here.
Come on.
We're dialed in.
Let's get it going. We got lots going on
We
before.
got college football to go today. We got some stuff that's interesting.
I love it. And you know what?
Apparently the SEC and the Big Ten don't like each other, which I like.
It's not that they don't like each other. They see the importance that the other one has. They know that they exist in the same universe. They know that they have to exist together. They know that it's good for business that they both exist together, to be frank. But, look, pre-show, you and I were listening to a lot of 80s wrestling clips. Full disclosure, spoiler alert.
Rest in peace, Hulk.
And we didn't get to one of the clips that I think and then I think about it now, and I'm like, this is an apt comparison. The SEC is Hulkamania, and the Big Ten is Randy Savage. And what did he have? He had you had Hulkamania, and then you had whatever it was, the universe that he lived in, that he did, which was like
the Bizarro Hulk.
No. I'm just saying when they combined powers.
When he turned heel.
No. When they combined powers. That video you sent of me to me when Randy Savage, the Macho Man and the Hulk combined powers, that's when the SEC and the Big Ten get together. They kept referring it to something else. But either way, what I'm saying is Hulkamania is one, right? If you're a Hulk Hogan person.
Mega Powers.
The Mega Powers getting together.
Their tag team alliance.
Look, and you know what? And the Mega Powers is what they were called. All we do in college football is call it the Super Conference now, right? That's what we call it. Mega Powers and Super Conference, same thing. And the insanity of those guys getting up in front of the camera every day is Big 12 or a Hulkamania media day, getting up in front and just like, let me tell you something, brother. And that's what Greg Sankey did all day at SEC media days. And then Randy Savage is Tony Petiti, and he's like, let me tell you something. Oh, yeah. Like that. Yeah. That's what it was.
Greg Sankey's like, you ever seen a power conference before?
You have now. I'm about to bring you these 24-inch pythons, brother.
Yeah.
That's what.
Look at me and my big, giant 8-game schedule. Oh, yeah.
You turn him into the Kool-Aid man. Now, listen. What I'm saying is the comparisons are appropriate. Why? Because they need each other, right? You need to have somebody. You need to have those two who are the top of the top of the top.
Which one's evil and which one's good?
I don't know, but when the president weighs in, you've got yourself a news story, right? Everybody was wondering because it was talked about, the possibility of an executive order that President Trump would send down, and we're always like this, no, we're good over here. We don't need, I don't care what your political leanings are. I don't need any of it getting into football, okay? Now, it's hard not to, right? But I don't want any of it bleeding into football. I don't need an executive order that has to do with football. Just let them figure it out themselves. The problem is they haven't been able to figure it out themselves. Our program brought to you by G2G Bars, all natural ingredients, and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Give it a shot today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other places in the refrigerated section. Let's give it a shot. And, of course, we kick off the hour, as always, with the cut, and we'll go right down this road and be as non-political as possible because I freaking hate. This is why I did this show, because I didn't want to do politics anymore on the radio. And yet here we are, college football with a signature next to the president's name, and how it's going to affect that, I don't know. We'll see. Let's jump in right here with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the show as well. TRAJAN Wealth.com. Trajan Wealth for all your trusted local needs in retirement. JJ, from what I'm understanding, the executive order is to basically take away anything that's a non-tied to endorsement, basically NIL money that just floats into the pocket of the athlete that doesn't have, like, for example, I guess the difference could be New Balance throwing $13 million at Cooper Flagg versus Cooper Flagg getting $13 million filtered to him from a donor. The difference there, I think what some of the powers that be here in this particular case see why they've been lobbying the president off to the side to see if he can make an executive order, is that they could eliminate the pay for play. I hate to break it to everybody. We are long past it. They are getting paid. They are playing. If you want to pretend like the two aren't related, then you can live in that fantasy world. But I don't think that this is necessarily going to, quote unquote, clean anything up, JJ.
It's a big, beautiful order. Nobody loves college sports as much as I do. But the truth here is this is not going to change anything.
Really?
Because the courts have already spoken. And remember, what was it, a couple weeks ago? The new commission that was set up, the
yes, Deloitte.
College Sports Commission.
Yeah, it's the College Sports Commission. You got it. Look at you.
Oh, hey, God, hey, big boy.
Yeah.
Hey. They tried to change the rules on NIL. This was their whole point, is they were trying to say that you have to prove that you're getting NIL from a company, like an endorsement, or you're doing work for somebody. You can't just take a collective money. The collectives obviously were outraged because there's a lot of collectives now and they have some power. Well, this basically is doing the same thing as like you can't take money from collectives. Well, how are you going to stop it? Because the courts have already answered this question. So an executive order, fine, write your executive order, but there's no teeth to this. This is not going to change anything. It accomplishes absolutely nothing. But it is a big and beautiful order.
I will say, though, that one of the things that the College Sports Commission has to actually come up with is assigning value to things, market value to things. And we've already known how arbitrary that type of a system could be, because if New Balance says that Cooper Flagg's value is $13 million, who is it for us to say, or for Deloitte to say, nah, try again, give him a better number? At that point, they're mediating, right? They're a mediator. They're not telling you, they're not an actual somebody babysitting this corner of the market and trying to help people understand what the value is, or fair market value. The fair market value is set by the company who's paying the money to that athlete, right? Isn't that the end of it?
Yeah.
It's worth, Cooper Flagg was worth what they paid him. And by the way, do you think that New Balance has gotten its money's worth off of Cooper Flagg?
Oh my gosh.
Do you think that Gatorade gets its money's worth off of Caitlin Clark? Now she's a pro athlete now, but guess what?
And State Farm?
She had started getting money from those. She got a little piece, a tail end of
it started in college
of all that
100%.
money. And you know what it did? It changed her life. But you know what it also did? These companies gave themselves a spokesperson, or at least an image that somebody could look at and go, "Oh yeah, she's with State Farm. Oh yeah, she's a Gatorade gal, right? Oh, look at this guy. He's got New Balance on." Now we all went, "Excuse me, $28 million to Cooper Flagg?" That's the part that sounds insane. But if you're a college athlete, or if you're the collegiate sports business at all, even adjacent to it, let's say you're an athletic director, what does it matter to you that the guy who you have playing exceptional level of basketball or football or whatever the sport is, and brings, more importantly, massive amounts of eyeballs, millions of people participating in your brand, who are you to say, "I don't like just paying these kids, I think they're pretty entitled"? We've heard that. But we've also seen, JJ, the shift of the attitude of the coaches, right? Who have had to at least say, yeah, it's the new way of doing things. And you know what? We want to be able to get these athletes exactly what they deserve. And it's like they're saying that, Kyle Whittingham, sometimes you look at him and you go, put the lie detector tests on, right? Let's see if he's telling the truth.
Mike Gundy was the one that was the hardest to come around. And he was late on the game, and look where he's at.
I thought it was going away, man.
Oklahoma State sucks.
I know. And you know what? They went the other direction. They went the wrong direction. They got to get on board. I don't know how to split up the money to where you can say that, oh, this is pay for play and this is not. Because endorsements are paying for play too. The reason that athlete is good, or the reason that athlete is recognizable, is because they play the sport so dang well, right? And they get paid for performing.
And how can you prove that what money some company is giving a player isn't just them giving the money so they would come to the school, as opposed to an endorsement?
Right. Think about teams that throw money at these athletes and say, "Oh, this is an endorsement." But by the way, we're also an Adidas school, so thank you very much.
Is some
Adidas,
BYU player doing ads for Qualtrics?
And even if they were,
You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's a hypothetical.
whomever, whatever company,
Doesn't
right?
matter.
Here in the state of Utah, I mean, that's what exactly. When big donors are standing by and you want to figure out a way to involve, if they're going to have to kind of launder the NIL money, so to speak,
Right.
by saying, yeah, they're endorsing my company. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's going to look a little bit, it's going to look a little
How
bit
do
weird.
you prove otherwise? And are you going to be able to investigate every instance of this?
Yeah.
And that's why it was odd that they were just rejecting every NIL submission possible because it was from a collective. Like you don't know where the money's coming from a collective, and you can't prove otherwise. Ultimately, this executive order from President Trump is meaningless. And here's why. His order doesn't create any new laws. And until there's laws in place, there's nothing you can do about it. And do we really want laws in place here? Do you really want Congress to be working on this? Is this really something that needs Congress to be involved in?
I found the mole. I found the person inside on the inside.
Okay.
You know who it was?
Who?
Nick Saban.
Ah.
Why? Quote, I think President Trump's executive order takes a huge step in the right direction for the education model. Are we hearing this, everybody?
Oh, my gosh.
Are we hearing this? The education model from a guy who made $10 million a year at Alabama coaching the football team, not getting the SATs going. Oh, but our grade point average, I don't care. That's your headline right there. That's your headline. Nick Saban praises Trump's executive order cracking down on pay-to-play in sports. Thank heavens there's somebody like, look, if there's a power play between two people where somebody could say, I think you should do this. What do you think? Coach, what do you think? I think it'd be a step in the right direction. I'm going to sign an order. I'm going to do it. Right? I don't know exactly if that's how it went down.
Beautiful order.
The order requires the preservation and, where possible, the expansion of opportunities for scholarships and collegiate athlete competition in men's and women's non-revenue sports. I don't think that – I think Nick Saban, who has said, well, this is the new way of doing things. And let me ask you this, JJ. Does it, on its face, take away from the academic side of things the way things are set up right now? Does it take away from it? Will fewer athletes graduate from college? Here's the reality. We're seeing guys stay in college playing basketball, especially longer than we're ever going to see guys play in
those
recent
players
memory.
have to remain eligible.
And if they're going to remain eligible, they have to be in
if you have
class.
financial incentive to stay eligible, what's wrong with that?
If a guy stays at a school for 3 years.
How many of you parents out there paying your kids to get good grades?
Okay.
Think of it as NIL
the way that the
payments.
system was set up before in college basketball, at least, was you're the best on the planet. Well, just go to college for don't even go for a year. Go for 7 months.
Yeah, they would go for a semester
and
they
drop
wouldn't
out
worry
of
about
college.
their grades because
Right.
they would be gone.
Right. So which one's better? Now they had the fewest number in the NBA draft this year than they'd had in 25 years, right? Yeah. And the reason it's not because they're like, I'm going to go back and get my education, coach. It's because the schools have a competitive model, and a lot of it has to deal with the endorsements that are there, the NIL collectives that are there. And why would you be able to – look, we've already said – why? It makes me nuts, JJ, because I'm trying to wrap my thoughts into one thing. Why would it be right? Why would it be right for them to say, yeah, don't pay those kids? You know why? Because that money is going to make it to where their education isn't worth much anymore. It takes away from the education model. I don't get it.
It doesn't.
The education model that we have in sports, what do we have? What education model do we have? Stop pretending, Nick Saban. Stop pretending, President Trump, like these things are going to change. Look, let these companies pay. And who are you to limit the pay that they're able to throw at these programs? That they're able to, by the way, when you divvy it up the way that you divvy it up, it becomes something totally different. It's something that the whole program benefits from, not just one single player. And we all know there's going to be players that are paid more than others.
Welcome to life.
It makes me nuts that now we're going to have a little bit of I don't know if it's going to be a speed bump of some sort. I know that people just try to find ways around these types of things, but I think that it's a step backward because we started to make such good progress, and we are at least wrapping our head around how this thing is supposed to work. And now this goes in a little bit of a different direction.
What? No, this is exciting. President Trump says he saved college sports with the stroke of a pen.
I love it.
Look, I mock that a little bit because it is a ridiculous statement to make. But ultimately, this is just a political move, and it's fine. Politicians do this all the time. There's nothing in this executive order that changes anything. And again, we all know like how Schoolhouse Rock. How is a bill made? How do you make laws? How do you make laws?
I go to Congress. It's a bicameral system.
You don't make laws with executive orders. You have to have actual substance. And I don't think that Congress is anywhere close to getting anything passed here that's going to change anything. And I don't think that you need to change anything. I don't think the government needs to get involved. I think this is all going to sort itself out. Ultimately, what college football specifically does need is some kind of structure where everything is even. And I think the revenue share is part of that because now everybody knows you can't go over that number, right? Steve Sarkisian talked about it.
Yep.
If we go over that $20 million number,
20.5,
we get fined $7 million.
$7 million.
Okay, so there's some structure there to penalize teams that go over it. Now, getting caught is another thing. We'll see how that is all managed and enforced, but at least there's some kind of structure there that you can go with. I think they do need a 9-game conference schedule requirement, and the SEC is going to have to come around on that. You've got to have a structure that everybody is playing by the same field in. There's things that are going to be able to keep this in check naturally. It's going to take some time. It's going to have to filter through. Don't get the government involved to try to figure it out. It's not going to help anything. It's not going to change anything. It's just going to make it worse.
I wonder, though, when you see what players are doing to make money now, and we've seen every different version of how these players have been and how these companies have gotten creative in trying to make sure that these kids will get paid. The reality is that the company, again, the companies or whoever it is that might show up and say, "Hey, I want to make a contribution for this kid. I want to be a part of this program." The argument that you make is that you're paying them for their name and their image and their likeness, right? You believe that person builds up that program that you're throwing money at, right? And you feel like it's the best representation of that school. You're able to do that and vote with that, kind of give your endorsement through your money and through that, through the collective. But the whole system is set up to where the entire school benefits from it, which is another thing that's crazy to me that you go, well, so does that money just dry up? Does NIL collective money just totally go away then? And if that's the case, you're going to see places laundering it through other things, right? I'm not saying a bag somewhere in the back of a trunk of a car. What I'm saying is that you're going to see all these fake endorsements coming up, or how are they going to do it? This guy over here has this company, and he's a big part of our social media plan. Right. Come on. There's no way. Just look, how much money do these collegiate athletes bring to the networks, to the schools? It's straight up, if you looked at it as a one-to-one deal, is a not fair proposition that you're asking. So you're asking them not to get pay for play, but you're asking to get paid while they play, right?
Yeah.
That's been the problem the whole time. The networks are getting rich off of this. Nick Saban got rich off of this.
Yes, he did.
Nick Saban wasn't getting paid primarily because he put kids through college. Stop it. That's not how this worked.
There's plenty of college coaches that put kids through college and got kids to get 3.5 GPAs, and they also got fired because they didn't win enough.
Right? Uh-huh. Oh, 100%. And if you think the donors, if they're being real about it, the athletic directors and the donors would mention the academic part, but they know that that's not the thing that puts butts in seats at school at these athletic events. They know it, and they have to put butts in seats in the athletic events. No one's looking and saying, "Hey, what was their cumulative GPA? I can't wait to catch them on ABC this weekend." That's not a thing. It really isn't.
Harvard, Yale, Saturday Night Football.
Right. And you know what?
On NBC.
And you know what that is? FCS level football. Smartest guys on the planet, bad football. In comparison to the best, right? I'm not saying that Harvard, don't at me with like the Harvard, Yale actually have really good football programs. I get it. I know they do.
Yeah, come watch a game, Alex.
But they are not in the SEC or the Big Ten.
No.
And they would never go, and they would never be a part of it. That's not what we're saying here, okay? Don't get confused with the idea that letting these guys get paid is terrible for the sport somehow. I don't get it. There's enough money to go around.
How many years have we seen NIL be a big part of college football?
Since 21, yeah.
How great was last year?
Amazing.
We had our first 12-team college football playoff.
Okay.
It wasn't perfect. There was issues with it, but it was fun.
Let me ask you this. Where does A.J. DeBonsa going to BYU fall in the illegal category versus the legal category per this executive order? What's funny is after that deal was signed and the money kind of gets leaked out as how much money that this kid could be getting through the collective and all that, whatever, fine. And then the endorsements also sat on top of all that money, and then we all looked and went, oh, he doesn't even need the $3.5 million.
Right.
He's getting this 12.5 or whatever he's getting. He's getting a ton of money elsewhere because he's worth that.
You bring up A.J. DeBonsa. If NIL doesn't exist and if this current situation does not exist, he goes to North Carolina or Duke, right? There's no way he lands at
For
BYU.
sure.
And A.J. DeBonsa going to BYU and Ace Bailey going to Rutgers is good for college basketball. It's good for college football, too, that the talent is being spread out more. It's not just concentrated in 2 or 3 programs because the players think they got to go there to make their dreams come true. In college football, it was Alabama, Georgia, Clemson for a decade. You had to go to one of those 3 schools to have a chance to win a national championship. And that's where all the 5-star guys went. And what we find out, you can go somewhere else to be able to become a top pick. I mean, you don't have to be an Alabama guy. You can win a national championship if you go to Michigan. You can win a national championship if you go to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see more teams break through here in the near future because the talent is being spread out more because of NIL, because players have opportunities at different schools. And what's happening to Alabama and Georgia and Clemson?
People are catching up.
They're still good programs.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but they're not the juggernauts. It's not like they walk into in a big stadium and nobody else has a chance against them. It's even the playing field a bit, which is good for college football because more teams have a chance. There's a little bit more parity in college football, and it's almost more like the NFL model where you have teams that can beat each other on any given day, and that's what you want to see because we don't want to know who's winning the game as soon as it starts.
Yeah.
We love the mystery.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a lot of back and forth still on how this thing is going to get handled. I think you're going to see Deloitte rejecting the $600 plus deals left and right, and people are going to go, on what grounds?
And
companies are going to go, excuse me, like I decided how much it's worth for us to have this kid posting on his social media for our company, or him being the face of our company, or her being the putting her on our T-shirts and on our brand. Not you, because it's over a $600 deal. I think that they're going to have to figure out that name, image, and likeness is in the eye of the beholder, and that's the person who cuts the check.
And while I mocked Donald Trump's big, beautiful order having any impact, and it's not really going to have an immediate impact, what it does do is politically, it could get Congress to look at this closer. It could drive those conversations more so. So that could have an impact as well. You're right. This is all filtering its way through, and it's finding its way through, just like anything else does. It's going to take some time. But ultimately, you can't take away money from these players. The courts have spoken. So this idea that you can do that, stop. And why do you want to do that? Anybody who still thinks we need to prevent these players from receiving any money for their name, image, and likeness, why? Why do you want to see that? Why is that a thing with you? They're the ones going out there and performing and playing, sacrificing their bodies and their brains.
Yeah, look,
they deserve to be paid for that.
Here's the
not
deal.
Nick Saban, not the athletic department, not the school, the player.
Here's the deal, too. Athletic departments are selling tickets now. They're setting the prices. And the consumer is looking at it and going, okay, do I want to be a part of this? I can't tell you how many of these conversations over the past little while I've had with BYU fans right now. Basketball fans are like, I thought I paid to.
Wait a minute.
So I can't get in the lower bowl?
Why are these prices so high? It's like, well, you wanted to be in the Big 12, right?
That's exactly right.
You want guys like A.J. DeBonsa, right?
Yeah. And guess what? Did the tickets get sold? The answer is yes. The answer is the tickets are going to be sold. And when they're sold, that part of the business is taken care of. And then you look at it and you go, how can we pay the guys that make this thing run, the gals that make this thing run, that are the actual athletes that are getting paid for this? And limiting it to just a company endorsement is going to be a hard thing to try to enforce, I think. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We have more to go on the program. Of course, we're just getting started. It's a Friday edition. We hope you're doing great on a 25th of July. We'll be right back around the corner. More to go. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex, with the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen. Thanks for being with us on the program today. Hey, I announced the parade. I did the PA announcing on one of the corners at the parade yesterday.
I'm sure you were fantastic.
I did have somebody come up to me and go, "You're actually informative," and I was like,
No one's ever told me that before.
Well, I was like this. Okay, actually informative. Like, I thought I was going to show up and you were just going to make fart noises into the microphone. No, I was like, well, and I also want to go, I'm reading these things. All right. It's like, I basically just read Wikipedia to you.
Hey, that's a good compliment, though.
It was nice. And I will say this.
In our business, we aim to entertain and inform.
You were actually informative. I did not know what was going to happen.
Shocked that you didn't suck.
The KSL float rolled by. The most represented station in our group, the KSL Sports Zone.
Of course.
Look, the weather team always representing well.
Alex was
KU
there.
Bank. Oh, yeah, and I embarrassed he and Christian Esparza, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
I said, don't you dare try to walk away here. Everybody, blow kisses at these young men in the back. Were you guys just attacked by the ladies at the end of the parade, Alex?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're waiting for us at the finish line.
That's at the finish line. Oh, it was quite fun. So I brought
Nobody had a heat stroke, right?
No. And
Good weather.
it's it's hot, but we had the white T-shirts that were way better than like the dark, black polos that we've worn in the past. I don't know. It was your first parade experience. Did you love it or what?
No, it was a good time. It was a good time
Yeah,
being
it was
out there
way
and waving and seeing all the people. It was fun, man.
Seeing all the people.
I will say that after I came over to dap you and Sean up, after walking
Yeah.
back, I accidentally stepped in horse crap. So that was probably the lowest point of my
He stepped in poop.
my parade
It's poop again.
experience.
Yeah. No, we. I know. You know what's funny? You know what's funny about that too? So I brought my daughter and I brought Hank and Maeve with us, and I had never brought any of my kids to the Days of 47 parade. I'm like, hey, it's a mess downtown. It's early. I'll drive in. I'll do it. I'll come back. And I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna bring two of my kids. They hung out, and Maeve was blown away. She had the same reaction Alex did. She goes, these horses are just pooping right in the street. And she's a 4-year-old. She's like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? I go, hey, that's what the guys in the golf cart are supposed to be doing behind. They have a sanitized golf cart to scoop it up and throw it into the back of. So I guess they missed that piece. Thank you, Alex, for your contribution by stepping in and carrying it with you the rest of the way. Yeah, it was an awesome time. The 24th of July is always a fun time, and the Days of 47 parade was really cool. Our promotions team, phenomenal. Yes.
Yep. Angie Dennison.
Yes, and
on the TV
Steph
side
Avis
of things, the whole crew.
Steph Avis and Joey, who just do a phenomenal job over in the promotion side.
It takes
of
an
things.
army.
They make sure, and they do. They're up all morning. It's their Super Bowl. I was talking to Sean Croshaw, who was sitting with me today, and I was like, "That dude, this is an event, man. Like, this is you guys' Super Bowl, and I'm glad that we were able to participate in some way. So, thanks for coming out to Second East and Second South and supporting the team. I told everybody that's God's corner right there. That's the chosen corner of announcing. That's what I do. I said, look, you can have other announcers, but a block away from here, you're not going to get as fun of a time. All right, we're going to party on this corner. All right, that's the deal. All right, let me see here, JJ. The top 10 swing games for every college football team in the top 25 rather for 2025. Now, here's the weird thing about this list. I feel very weird that ESPN still has BYU ranked in their preseason poll at number 10. Do we need to have a serious?
Don't think they've
serious
updated things since
that's what I'm
the
asking.
drama that took place
Because
this
the
summer.
write-up even has nothing mentioned about the fact that there's a quarterback situation, right? And that's the number one story is there's a quarterback situation. So I was shocked that I saw this list because I thought to myself, look, I'm not one to say, hey, because Jake Retzlaff is there, BYU falls off the planet. I think that you could have made that argument last year and say, just because Jake Retzlaff is in, Jake Retzlaff being the quarterback last year felt like it was going to be a moment where BYU fell off the planet. Instead, not being the quarterback now, that affects things. What's the reality before we even get into this swing game list? Where should BYU be in a preseason ranking for ESPN now that the Jake Retzlaff news has come down? And reminder, like I said, they're number 10 in the ESPN top 25.
There's too many teams that are good to have them ranked there any longer because there's so much uncertainty about what the team has at quarterback. Now, a critic would say, Jake really wasn't that good last year, and we went 11-2. Well, yeah, you're right. He had some up and down moments, but he also had some spectacular late game heroics that won him some games that they probably wouldn't have won. They won close games last year. That was the secret sauce. They figured out how to win close games. The defense was phenomenal at forcing turnovers, getting into the end zone, making plays, right? We all know why. The formula for BYU last year was that. Now, can BYU repeat that this year with one of the quarterbacks in the quarterback room? They may be, but we don't know. And so oftentimes when you do preseason polls, you can only count on things you do know. And I think that's why we got the preseason poll in the Big 12 so wrong last year, is because a lot of things happened. There was things we knew, but there was also things we didn't. And the things that we didn't know took over, and that's how it worked out. So that would be my answer, is I couldn't quite put them in the top 25. I would have both BYU and Utah knocking on the door, but I can't put them there yet because there's just too much unknowns about the quarterback position.
So it would fall a preseason number 10 ranking for BYU. You take them all the way out of the top 25 now.
Yes.
Jake Retzlaff was the difference for you to go 15-plus
experience
slots out
at quarterback is what's missing. We haven't seen any of these guys play Power 4 football.
Okay. I'll just remind you, too, of some of the top 25, of ESPN's top 25, preseason top 25. It's quite wild, too, because it's a little bit out there. Penn State is number 1. Clemson is number 2, which Clemson is a real darling for some people, and it's a dog for other people.
And both have returning senior quarterbacks.
Okay. Longhorns at number 3.
Yeah.
Quarterback situation pretty locked up there.
Right.
Though we don't have a lot proven, but it goes for saying
what we've seen is impressive.
Now, Gunnar Stockton, who's the 43-year-old who plays quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs, and got all that attention because he has the same hairline that I do, and he was at
he has NIL for Rogaine.
Poor kid was 20 years old and he was taking strays from JJ here in the market, going, "What's going on with this kid?" No, but everybody was like, This kid already is fully vested in his 401k. That was one of the jokes, right?
Yeah.
Ohio State Buckeye. But again, Gunnar Stockton hasn't proven much, but they're the number 4 Georgia Bulldogs.
Why? Georgia's loaded.
Because it's Georgia and they're loaded. But isn't BYU loaded compared to other teams that we've seen of them in the past?
Comparing them to Georgia?
No. I'm saying compared to the BYUs that we've seen in the past, and even the BYU that you saw on the field last year at the end of the year.
BYU's defense loaded. Keanu Tanavas in the front, absolutely. Their defense is loaded.
They may be better.
Questions about the offensive line. We know that Chase Roberts is good. We know L.J. Martin is good. It's just the quarterback and the offensive line have me going, I don't know. I'm not saying that they're not good. They could go to 11-2 again. That's not what I'm saying. I just can't put them at 10.
Right. Yep.
10? 10 is high.
The Ohio State Buckeyes, number 5. Number 6 is LSU. Again, Cade Klubnik and Cade Klubnik.
He's back.
Nussmeier. He's coming back. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, are 7th, and they have a definite question mark at quarterback because.
But they were in the national championship
keep moving around.
last year, right?
The Oregon Ducks, they kind of have a plug and play quarterback system. I watched the quarterback at. I don't even know what this dude's name is.
Didn't he transfer from UCLA?
And he's the number, and he's wearing the
Dante Moore,
and he's wearing the number 10. And at spring practice, he was like blowing up people. Like he was absolutely the best athlete out there. So maybe they figure it out. Maybe guys go and play. Was that the same kid who came here and played in that 14-7 game at Utah?
Pretty sure. Yes.
He was a hyped 5-star kid.
Freshman. Wasn't ready.
Thrust into a problem situation, right? Alabama number 9, number 10 BYU, like we said. Illinois 11, Arizona State 12. South Carolina 13, Iowa State 14, SMU 15.
All those teams have returning quarterbacks that are studs.
Texas Tech Raiders are 16th, and they also have a quarterback coming back. Indiana Hoosiers 17, Kansas State 18, Florida Gators 19.
Returning quarterback. I can't put BYU ahead of any of these teams yet.
I feel the same way. No, I just think that
point.
But I think that these lists are funny too because we will also throw teams to the top of the list.
I thought 10 was a little overhyped to begin with.
Yeah.
But they earned it because they were 11-2 last year, and they're bringing back their quarterback and a lot of other guys.
Ole Miss or Texas A&M 23. See, that's one where I go, why? Okay. Just like every year.
That's fair.
Okay, fine. Ole Miss, not a quarterback situation that people are familiar with, and they have to rebuild and retool. Oklahoma Sooners, don't know what their situation is at quarterback, and I frankly don't care. I think their name gets on lists like this because they're the Oklahoma Sooners.
Probably don't belong there.
So there you go. But the swing game that they gave to BYU, and again, the write-up on this makes me feel like that they did not take into account the changeover at quarterback. It says the Big 12 opener against Colorado on the 27th is one to circle, but the next week, home against West Virginia on a short week on a Friday night, really could swing momentum one way or the other. The Cougars, if they start 4-0, they play Portland State, Stanford, East Carolina in their non-conference. A win there would move to a 2-0 in conference play would be huge, especially since they'll be breaking in a new quarterback, and that early season experience will matter. And if they lose to Colorado, they will need a win over the Mountaineers to avoid an 0-2 start. I get what Kyle Bonagura is saying there, but the West Virginia game being the swing game for BYU,
I disagree.
It's hard to say. Now, again,
if you can't beat Colorado and West Virginia to start the season, you're not very good.
But it's not just saying that it's an important game at the beginning of the conference
home
play.
Against West Virginia? Why?
And on a Friday night,
why is that a swing game?
I don't know.
It's a game. You know what the swing game is? Utah the 18th. You want to know why the swing game is Utah?
2 weeks after this game, by the way.
If you can't start the season off by beating Portland State, Stanford, and East Carolina in the non-conference, and then win at Colorado, who's going to be down this year. We already talked about that with Jake Shapiro. Even he's not sold on him. West Virginia's not that good yet. Rich Rod's not going to figure out that quick. At Arizona could be tough with Noah Fafita at quarterback, but I'm not sold on them either. Your swing game is Utah. Why? A, because I think Utah's going to be pretty good. B, it's a rivalry game. And see, if they win that game, they're set up to win the Big 12 because guess you get in the next few weeks. That week after that, Iowa State. Then you get a bye week. Then you got Texas Tech. Then you got TCU. Okay, that's why Utah is the swing game because you play 4 juggernauts in a row. Utah, Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU. Those are the games. That's the heart of your schedule. And if you don't beat Utah, how are those next 3 games going to go for you? That's why it's a swing game.
Yep. Okay.
I can give you Utah's swing game. I can give you Utah State swing game.
Let me hear Utah's swing game.
Texas Tech, right out of the gate. Are you a serious contender? Well, guess what? You get to play the team that we're all picking to win.
You're saying for their first
right out of the
game.
gate. So if you beat Texas Tech, we all assume, right? They're going to beat UCLA, Cal Poly, and Wyoming. I don't think UCLA is very good. I just don't. I know they got Nico, whoopity-doo.
Right.
Okay, you got a lot of other problems on that team. We talked to their guy down there. They think they're going to be better offensively, but not week 1. That's never the case with a new offensive coordinator week 1. They beat Cal Poly, they beat Wyoming, but Texas Tech, many picked them to win it, including us, the Big 12. If you can beat Texas Tech at home, next up is West Virginia, and then you got Arizona State. Texas Tech sets the stage for everything else. That's your swing game. Because if you give Texas Tech an L in September, you're setting a statement to the rest of the conference. We're back. We're for real. And then you got a lot of momentum going into that Arizona State game on October 11th, and you have a bye week before that.
Yep.
That's not the swing. The swing is Texas Tech.
All right, we've got an important would you rather around the corner. Okay, it's sports adjacent.
It sounds like in the 80s when there was a sitcom, but I was like, on a special growing pains.
On a very special Perfect Strangers. Balky?
Balky has AIDS.
No, it's like Balky has it. What was that? What was the fake island he was from? Jeez, you went dark.
Balky Bartokomous. He was from the island of Mypos.
Mypos! Fake Greek island. Ah, yes. All the goat jokes and sheep jokes you could handle for Balky Bartokomous.
Oh, my gosh.
And Cousin Laddie, look at the eyes on our producer, Alex. He's like, you guys are speaking
over.
a different language to me.
What are you talking about?
The days
No,
we're not talking about
he was like,
Borat.
AIDS? What's AIDS?
Oh,
You missed the 80s,
come
man.
on. Perfect
AIDS was a big
Strangers. How
deal.
dare you? All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. But no, none of those things. Still an important pop culture list coming up on Would
No
You Rather.
AIDS coming up.
Stay with us. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Listen, everybody. Real life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. It's a Friday. We've got some things to announce here for you, especially, don't miss, the fact that it's a Win Ticket Wednesday on the KSL Sports Zone all day long. JJ and Alex, DJ and PK, Hanson Scotty, Jake and Ben, everybody's giving away tickets on Wednesday. That's what we do. This Wednesday, Eric Church and the Free the Machine Tour coming October 23rd to Delta Center. Find those tickets on SeatGeek, or you can listen all day long to the KSL Sports Zone this coming Wednesday for your chance to win. All right. JJ, what do I have here for you? Oh, boy, I've got something. Hey, this is one of those moments where my sons and I are like we actually are on the same page about something. They got into some Adam Sandler movies over the summer, and with Happy Gilmore being released today on Netflix, I have in front of me the highest rated ones on Rotten Tomatoes, but that makes no difference. Okay, these are feelings of the heart, JJ. Sandler movies are the feelings of the heart. So I've got for you the best Adam Sandler movies, and you're gonna go with me, and we're gonna go along this thing on a Would You Rather. All right,
Let's go.
let me see here. It's so funny, because I'm not Punch Drunk Love is not. I'm not putting it on the list. Okay.
Okay.
It's a good movie.
There's no chance to win.
Uncut Gems. Everyone looks at it like it's the best. Like from a cinema standpoint, it's the best. But I get it. We can't go that direction all the way. And I just don't think. So I don't want to say that those things are out. But they have their own place in there.
He tried to show his serious acting chops multiple times.
Yes.
Let's just ignore that ever happened.
I just want to know which ones, basically, that you and I could jam on.
His
all right?
funny ones. Which was the best?
The best movies from Adam Sandler. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Would you rather watch Big Daddy or The Wedding Singer?
Wedding Singer by a mile.
Wedding Singer or Mr. Deeds?
Wedding Singer.
Wedding Singer or Billy Madison? Oh, I got his heart.
We've reached the Sophie's Choice portion.
Oh, no.
This is hard for me.
It is.
Hey, you. Remember me? I bet you thought that I was dead.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
What am I going to do here? Because I love The Wedding Singer.
I know,
the 80s nostalgia.
I know.
Well written, great storyline. Oh, I want to grow old with you. I'm going to go with Wedding Singer, but it's hard.
Oh, wow.
I know it's an upset.
Okay. Wedding Singer.
25-year-old me would have gone Billy Madison all the way, but
I
I'm
know.
going to go Wedding Singer.
Singer or I was going to say, or you don't mess with the Zohan. No. Wedding Singer or 50 First Dates.
Wedding Singer.
The thing about 50 First Dates
It's
is
same actors. I
You
know.
go back, though, it's a good watch.
It is.
I think when you watch it while you're watching it with like my wife likes that movie. It's
50
like one of
First
the-
Dates is a good movie.
Okay.
Wedding Singer's a great
Billy
movie.
Madison to The Longest Yard.
Oh, it's Wedding Singer over Longest Yard. And I know I'm picking Wedding Singer over Sports Movie. I get it.
Okay. Happy Gilmore or Billy Madison.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore or Anger Management.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore or Airheads. Airheads is underrated, by the way.
It is underrated.
I mean,
Handsome Dan.
Only because
Handsome Dan.
I will tell you, only because Steve Fraser or Brendan Fraser
Yeah.
does a phenomenal job. A phenomenal job.
Just the whole Harry Scheer is
I know.
Handsome Dan is
Yes.
great. I'm still going with Happy Gilmore.
I agree. Happy Gilmore, top of the list. I agree wholeheartedly. There
My
you
top
go.
three: Happy Gilmore, Wedding Singer, Billy Madison, and that's controversial because I think a lot of people like Billy Madison's the funniest of
Yeah.
them all.
No, and you know what's funny is like you go back and look at him and you go, "Oh, this is terrible acting." But so is Tommy Boy in a lot of places too.
Well,
But
sure.
that's
It's not the point.
Okay, how about
Did it
that?
make you laugh?
Happy Gilmore or Tommy Boy. Now those aren't Adam Sandler, obviously, but those are two
Wow.
SNL, like our wheelhouse
Wow.
SNL casts.
Chubbs puts it over the top for me. It's Happy Gilmore.
Really?
It's close.
Tommy Boy by a mile in my world.
Really?
Yes.
Over
Yes.
Happy Gilmore.
Because
You're a Tommy. You're
Adam
a
Sa-
Tommy Boy guy.
Listen, because Adam. Yes, I'm a
think
Farley guy, but I'm also
for Christmas, I'm going to get you a Callahan Auto T-shirt.
I would love it. I would love it. At Zelensky Auto. You give me that one, the counterculture one. All right, we'll take a break here. But anyway, I'm excited. So like on the watch list this weekend.
I'd love to get a review from any of you.
Oh.
Is Happy Gilmore 2 worth the time?
Okay, I will say this.
I haven't done it yet. I'm
There
thinking about it
apparently
tonight.
is a scene with Scotty Scheffler in handcuffs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say somebody farted.
No.
We all saw that video this
Yes.
week from the Open Championship, right?
And here comes Scotty Scheffler. Aww. My favorite is
little wind helped to
my
get on the
favorite is
green
that
there.
these two like proper English guys are like, well, what's so funny, Martin? And it's like, I don't know, but I think you got a little extra help on that one. Back to you. All right, we'll take a break. No, I want to
I
see.
wish we had the audio. Now we
Hey,
just
here's
sound
what-
like a bunch
Here's
of
what's funny. Here's what's
immature
funny.
idiots.
Happy Gilmore, if it's good or Happy Gilmore 2, if it's good or not, I will watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it all the way through. I don't care. There's just nostalgia there. Is what's her name in it? Julie
She is.
Brown? Bowen?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Yep.
Either way. Then it's good. I'll tell you it's good right now. All right. We'll take a break. We've got more. When we return, new hour, new stuff to talk about, new cut. You're going to get all of it. So stay here, 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Then is all the agony what you have. Salt Lake City's own Stevie Nicks. Back to you, JJ.
I love how we claim celebrities that lived here for like 18 months.
You know, when Salt Lake City's own Roseanne
went
Barr
to like ninth
lived here,
grade here.
she was like, I think she was like a military brat, you know, it was like, and she had like a semester at Judge or something, and everyone's like, oh no, man, my mom had lunch with her every day.
Yeah.
She was her best friend in junior
We used to
high.
ride bikes.
Sure, man. Welcome back to the program. JJ and Alex, happy, feels like a Saturday, Friday to you.
Yeah, it's been weird, right?
I mean, look,
Building's empty.
so my wife works in an industry where they don't get Pioneer Day off, right? Because it's like, you know,
Yeah, but out unless
National
you work
stuff.
for a Utah company,
Yeah.
you probably don't.
right. And so it's been weird because it's like she had to work yesterday. I have to work today. And it just has felt, it's been a little bit off. Our normal, like, 24th of July sort of stuff has been shaken off course a little bit. But I will say the neighborhood party is still on. We still have the fireworks ready to go tonight, and we will.
Yeah, a lot of the parties are tonight.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Fireworks stuff tonight.
See, the thing is,
People
like, for
love
us,
Fridays
the
to party.
fireworks go off, and there is definitely an amount of cleanup that happens in the moment, right? You got to get rid of all the big stuff in the cul-de-sac. But then you also have to get the stuff the next day that are just like, I mean, I'm telling you, it's all over the roofs everywhere,
Yeah.
and you gotta be helpful to the neighborhood. So we get the blowers out. We have like a blower army of. Anyway, we do it right. All I'm saying is we party right. All right, JJ, even in our 40s. So there you go. It is, of course, JJ and Alex. We are sponsored by the good folks at G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Grab them today. Costco, Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and many other retailers in the refrigerated section. Go check it out for yourself. Let's kick it off this hour with our guest. Top of the hour is The Cut, and that's where we're going to jump in right here. Jason Scheer, Arizona football. Let's get right to it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And this portion of the show brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Go check it out today. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Jason Scheer covers Utah football for WildcatAuthority.com. I am intrigued, to say the least, by this Arizona football team, Jason. First of all, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So we got to sit down at Big 12 Media Days and chat with Coach Brennan and also with Noah Fifita. And I think at the beginning of all this, it was like, man, Arizona, what was your deal last year? Underperforming compared to the expectations, obviously. Underperforming according to what they felt like they should do. Coach Brennan took a lot of the blame. If I know that you watched that whole thing shake out and go, I put my guys in a bad spot. It was my fault that I didn't get Noah the best season that he could have. I started to kind of come back around and go, yeah, Noah Fifita didn't stop being a great athlete. Is that the vibe that Arizona football is feeling, or is it still like looking sideways at this program?
Yeah, I mean, it's a type of deal where like 2 years ago when Jed was here, Noah's season was one of the best in school history. And then last season, he just wasn't good. But the offense as a whole wasn't good. The play calling wasn't good. I mean, they made a change on offensive coordinator 3 games into the season. The offensive line was bad. And so, you kind of say to yourself, okay, like Noah didn't just stop becoming a good football player. Something happened there. And so they go out, they make a new coordinator hired, and Seth Dagey, who's going to run a completely different offense from last season. And, we'll have to see, but I will say there is optimism surrounding Noah Fifita and really the offense as a whole, where they're kind of moving past last season and saying, look, we were bad. Everyone was bad on offense. The defense wasn't great either, but everyone was bad on offense. We're switching up the whole thing, and hopefully Noah could get back to what he was a few years ago.
You mentioned offensive coordinator. What are some of the player situations that are better this year? I know obviously you lose Ted McMillan, you lose a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. You're gonna take a dip there, but what are some of the things that they've done to help Noah Fifita after realizing last year they didn't do enough?
It's interesting because as good as T-Mac was at wide receiver, it was really just him. There was no wide receiver depth at all, and really to put it into perspective, Arizona's third wide receiver last year, Jeremiah Patterson, may not even get, more than 10 snaps this season in a game. Like he's not really on the 2 deep anymore. So they went out, they rebuilt the wide receiver room. They got Chris Hudson from Washington State. He was at Oregon previously. They brought back Chris Hunter. They got Luke Wysong from New Mexico, Trace Spivey from Kansas State, Nunu Watley from Chattanooga, who put up some really good numbers there. So they rebuilt that whole room. Tight end, they brought in one of their highest incoming recruits is that tight end, and Kellen Ford. Kean Burnett is an interesting one because he actually transferred while they had the previous offensive coordinator, spent spring football at Kansas, entered the portal and came back again because he actually knows Arizona's new offensive coordinator, Seth Dagey, recruited him while he was at USC. And so they had a previous relationship there. And so, the running backs, they got Ismail Mahdi from Texas State. They brought back Kedrick Rossano, who's their second best running back. So they added weapons. None of it's going to matter if it's not for the O-line, if the O-line isn't better. But I actually feel pretty good about Arizona's skill positions compared to last season.
Jason, one of the things that was fascinating to me was, Coach Brennan came in under the circumstances that he did, but he just seems like he bought into Tucson and to the whole vibe there in Arizona. And obviously winning is the most important thing for a coach to be able to maintain a long-term job situation there. But has the energy around Coach Brennan died off, or is it one of those things where it's like, no, I think he can get this thing back again because he just is he's a really good dude to talk to. And I just wonder if the community is still kind of have positive vibes for their coach when they brought him in after Coach Fish.
I think the biggest issue he had was expectations. That Fish did so well his last season that people expected Brett Brennan to really hit the ground running. And when it didn't go well, he took major heat. I mean, there were people that wanted him out after 1 year. The AED was pretty quiet through the process and took a little bit longer than she probably should have to support him. It's tough. He's in a very difficult position. And I think what actually makes it tough is he's a great dude. He wants to win here. His brother played here. Older players know him. His wife graduated from U of A. He's not BSing when he says this is probably his dream job. The problem is, especially in this town, you got to win. And he has to win this year. People want him to win. But the problem is that the expectations and the performance last year just didn't match up. And so while people are rooting for him to succeed, frankly, there's a lot of doubt behind it, and he knows that. He fully recognizes that. It's just a matter of kind of getting on the field and starting to win some games.
How much of the frustration of last season was magnified by Arizona State's success?
A lot of it, because Arizona was in that position just the year before, and then all of a sudden, not only is Arizona bad, but where ASU was, they go and win the conference in the first year. And now they blow out Arizona in a game that generally is pretty close throughout history. And it definitely didn't help the situation that look, Arizona could bounce back here in the next few years, but it's pretty clear that one program right now, for at least, is on a different trajectory than the other.
Jason, one thing that we also have been looking at is these, and you've got a write-up right now about some of the most important games on the schedule for Arizona. What do you have as the most important ones, kind of those swing games for the Wildcats, or ones that are going to be the most telling about where they are in their season?
Yeah, so, there's a couple. Like, last season, they were able to win the first two games, and it wasn't that impressive, but they won, and the offense is actually pretty good. And then they go to Kansas State, and they get killed in the third game of the season. Well, now they have Kansas State at home in the third game of the season on a Friday night. Do they look better? But the games that are going to really determine the season for Arizona, home against Oklahoma State in the fourth game of the season. If Arizona is going to make a bowl, it's not sneak into a bowl, it has to win that game. At Houston, at Colorado, those are games that, they have to go and they have to steal a road game. So those games I kind of feel are bigger in a way than like a Friday night game against Kansas State, where Arizona's probably going to be 2 touchdown underdogs. They have to beat the Oklahoma States, the Kansases. They face Kansas at home. They face BYU at home. Those are kind of the games where they have to compete, but, they have to be able to win more often than not, because the road games, at Iowa State, not an easy one. They got Baylor at home, not an easy one still. They go at ASU, and so they don't play UCF. They don't play West Virginia, who are supposed to be two of the teams of the conference that maybe are on Arizona's level or below it. So they have to find ways to kind of steal games and get to that 6-win mark.
As you look at the schedule and you look at where this team is at right now, what is the realistic expectation for them versus what is their highest ceiling?
I have them probably, looking at the schedule, the number I keep going back to is 5-7. I find it hard to get that 6th win. Mm-hmm. They should look better than last year, especially on offense. I really like Seth Dagey. I think the issue they have is that O-line is not – there's just so many questions. It could be better than last season, but we're not going to know because they added transfers. And, Jonas Savade, as bad as Arizona's offensive line was last season, they still had a first, second-round pick of Jonas Savade on the line. They still had Wendell Moy, who's now at Tennessee. So there was some talent there. There just wasn't a lot of depth. And they added guys, to their credit. We just don't know what those guys are going to look like on Arizona. So if the O-line is better, the offense as a whole should be better. I think best-case scenario is they win those games that I mentioned. They beat Colorado, they beat Houston, they win at Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, and they get to 7-5. I would be surprised if they hit the 8-win mark, but I would also be surprised if they're a 3-win football team. I think it's kind of 4 to 6 wins is kind of the area I expect them to be in.
Wow. How competitive has it been for the folks down in Tucson? Obviously it's easy to compare to Arizona State and see what they're doing, but how well has Arizona done with donors and things like that, their collectives, and who knows what the future of those even look like? But are guys at Arizona getting paid, and are they competitive, and is it kind of on par with about, maybe a team that would be in the middle of the conference in the Big 12?
Yeah, they're probably middle of the pack. They're not going to go, up with Texas Tech and win that battle, or any of the SEC schools and win that battle. I'd say they're middle in the conference. They were able to retain guys that other schools were going after. Chris Hudson at wide receiver was really good in the spring. There's some big-time schools that went after him. They were able to keep him. Genesis Smith at safety, who I think is an NFL player, they were able to keep him. So they've been able to pay certain guys the amount it needs to stay. But if it ever becomes a bidding war with like a recruit, they're not in position to win bidding wars more often than not, because the reality of college football is, there's 25 or whatever schools that are pretty much always going to beat out schools like Arizona.
BYU coming to Tucson on October 11th, and BYU got the best of them in Provo last year. How much do fans there look forward to that game and that rematch?
Yeah, they like it a lot. I mean, that's been a matchup, especially lately in the last few years that has turned into a consistent thing. I was at that game at BYU last year, and Arizona was awful. At times they looked good, and then they had some really bad plays that kind of shifted the game. But it's going to be interesting. I think BYU is one of those teams too that people are curious what's it going to look like without Jake Retzlaff, and I kind of think that people are a little too far down on BYU. I think there's talent there, and it'll be very interesting to see. But that's another one of those games. Like Arizona got blown out last year. Can they make it competitive? Can they find a way to steal it because it's at Arizona? So that game's definitely going to be intriguing, especially with where it is in the season.
I was looking at this too, and we had this discussion, I think, with maybe the athletic director and maybe with Coach Brennan. We certainly had that same conversation with Arizona State and their athletic director, because Arizona State doesn't play BYU this year, and then Utah doesn't play Arizona. This seems like we're missing something here, because these are, I think, matchups that are important when you have regional matchups that I feel like it's not just having rivalry games be, hey, let's have those. And I know you have to mix this thing up, but there has to be a way to make sure that you avoid a Cincinnati if the cost of it is not having to play a Utah or a BYU on a schedule. Has that conversation come up before, that these four corner schools kind of be more prioritized and play these games more?
Yeah, it's a weird scheduling system. I mean, because there's two ways to look at it. You can get the rivalries in and make sure you get those in. And, like, I know for basketball, for instance, last year Arizona played Kansas at Kansas. And they did play, Kansas and McHale, and it felt like it was a complete missed opportunity. With football, like you mentioned, like Arizona not playing Utah feels weird. Like it just, they used to play every year. And they've had some great games over the years. And, and I will say, like, while I enjoy being in the Big 12, I think it's a little strange still that, Arizona's going to be playing Cincinnati probably at like 10 a.m. on a Saturday instead of playing Utah. It's just strange. And I agree completely. I think it should be prioritized where you find a way where Arizona plays the schools that they came over with, right? That they play the Utah, they play Colorado and ASU, and BYU makes a ton of sense either because, like you mentioned, like going to Cincinnati, it's a weird deal, and it'd be nice to kind of make sure that there's certain teams you see on that schedule every year.
Jason Scheer, you can find his byline, Wildcat Authority. It's part of the 24/7 Sports Network, and we appreciate it, Jason. We'll chat with you as this game in October gets a little bit closer, and we can chat it up between BYU and Arizona then. Thanks for hanging out with us today, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
There you go. Jason Scheer. It's a weird thing that they don't prioritize that.
It sucks.
And I'm not
BYU,
trying to pick
how do you not have a BYU Arizona State
I know.
rematch after what we saw
after
last
what
year?
happened last year. Utah and Arizona not playing each other is
that too, like,
really dumb.
Utah wants that game. Utah wants to get back. That was a bad loss they took up there.
Really?
In fact, that's 2 straight L's that Utah's taken against Arizona. You don't think Utah wants another shot?
But again,
there's juice to that game. Make it happen.
So Arizona goes to Cincinnati. They host Baylor. They go to Houston. Like, Houston and Arizona, they don't care. Like, figure it out. You
Do we
can
really
mix it
need
up.
Arizona, Oklahoma State?
No, and that's what, or Iowa State even. Like, if it comes at the cost of, and I get you've got to play these and mix them up, and you're in this conference, you want to play those other teams.
Utah fans really look forward to a trip to Morgantown?
So what we were told is
Utah's got West Virginia and Cincinnati on their schedule. It feels like you play in the American.
So the other thing that happens is you've got to do. So the way that they schedule it is, obviously the nine conference games. You have the rivalry game that they preserve for everybody, and then after that, it's kind of just but they did say that the four corner schools, they have to schedule 3 out of the 4. So every year they're going to miss a team. So this is a terrible one because because BYU and Arizona State. That's beyond a game that people want to see. You know what I mean? Like, that would be the biggest matchup in the conference if they played each other week 3 or week 4 of conference play, or even at the end of the season. And the amount that was on the line last year going into Tempe,
it was a place in the Big 12 championship game.
it goes down, by the way, and everybody who was in that building or watched that game is like, that goes down in history as one of the weirdest and craziest endings we've ever seen in a football game. And that's in a year that had one of the weirdest and craziest endings ever to the history of the rivalry football game between BYU and Utah too. So those are the ones you try to preserve. You know, I'm not dying to see what Iowa State can do when Arizona comes to town. And it sounds simple enough, but I bet Iowa State goes, are we not playing this team this year or this team this year? Why are we doing that? We're playing Arizona. You know, it's just dumb stuff.
So half of Utah's schedule is being played in the Central and Eastern time zones.
Yeah, I don't know how much.
Look at Utah's schedule.
Guys. I don't know how much that affects.
It doesn't,
guys.
and that's not. It's just weird. Like Utah's playing Kansas, Kansas State, Baylor, Cincinnati.
Yep.
They do play Colorado and BYU and Arizona State, but then West Virginia, and Texas Tech. It's quite a jolt to your brain because you're used to Utah playing USC and Washington and Oregon.
Right.
I get it. It's time to move on, but it's just very jolting. And to not see Arizona on there is a little bit disappointing. They are playing, I will say, though, they are playing the other three four-corner schools. Yeah, but they should play all four. They should play all four every year.
That was the thing that they said, well, you play 3 out of the 4.
Four of your 9 games should be against those schools.
Because guess what? Your rival is in that game typically, or in that group of teams too. Same thing, right?
Long history, geographical reasons. There's just so many reasons for it. Okay. So, by the way, shout out to Weber State, who will play in Tucson on September 6th against the Arizona Wildcats. It's going to be Native American Land Acknowledgement Night at Arizona Stadium on September 6th, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
3 games in a row.
Not daylight time, Mountain Standard.
Yeah, I can never remember
it's
where they're
8 p.m.
at that point of the
our
year.
time.
Hawaii, Weber State, K-State, all in the first 3 weeks of the season. They go 3 weeks and then they have their first bye. Which again, I don't know if you love that. I don't know if it's a good time, but I will say that having those first 3 games all at home, including your first conference game, is
K-State does not count as a conference game.
Oh, that's right. They already had that one on the schedule.
Isn't that weird?
So
they're
dumb.
playing 10 conference games, but it doesn't count.
Yeah, so dumb. All right, let's come back. We'll take a break. When we do, we've got more to chat about. We've got more college football to chop up as well. Don't miss it. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Accessing.
When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
Wow. This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex. Presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back. It is JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Hiccup right when I went through there. Everyone else would say it. Thanks a lot, body. Hey, what are we listening to right here, bro?
Soundgarden.
That's right.
Rusty Cage.
I was like, that's Chris Cornell, yes? Come
Absolutely.
On. When these celebrities pass away, I don't want to take away from, but those like really cheesy paintings that they have of like the reunitings of like of these celebrities when they like quote, So there was one where Ozzy Osbourne is getting to rock and roll heaven or whatever, and it's like it almost looks like and it's like this scene where they're like open arms and they've got like wings on their backs, and it's like Ozzy giving a big old hug to Kurt Cobain, who's like smiling. I'm like, I don't know if this is a joyous reunion. I don't think Kurt Cobain. I don't think Ozzy.
People are weird.
Like, who draws this? You know what I mean? Like, it had like.
Yeah, I don't think Kurt Cobain's waiting on the other side to give Ozzy a high five.
Chris Cornell and Kurt Cobain, and there was another musician. Oh, Brian Wilson from the Beastie. Okay, yeah, he's there greeting Ozzy. I don't think so.
Brian Wilson from the Beastie Boys?
Sorry, from the.
Now that's a collaboration we were deprived of. I want to hear Brian Wilson singing "It's Sabotage."
Which one of the Beastie Boys is no longer with us? Is it Mike D?
Oh man,
one of them passed.
That was it.
Boy, this is an awkward conversation. Which celebrities died? And then they like they have like Hulk getting to heaven, and you're like, I don't know, guys. Maybe we don't draw that. You know what I mean?
Adam Yauch is the one that passed away, known as MCA.
Yeah, MCA. All right.
That was back in 2012 with
crazy
cancer. Is sad.
So anyway, we don't need to draw the pictures of what these celebrities meeting each other after death. All right, I don't think we need them. That's one piece of art I don't have going up in my house. All right, let me see here, JJ. You can nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week award. What do? All you do is go onto KSLSports.com/contest and nominate that awesome volunteer in your neck of the woods, somebody who does just an awesome job with the youth sports programs, either for your city, or they're the volunteers, or they're the team mom, or they're the ones who organize the entire league, and nobody asks them to go this extra mile, but they do it anyway. Just go to KSLSports.com/contest, and then we'll honor those folks. Every Thursday, we read off those winners. Sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. There you go. Here's the thing about the Big Ten for me, because I was looking at the Big Ten and kind of the preseason rankings of the Big Ten. All right, and you tell me who is going to be a contender and who's not. Okay, because I was looking at it and I'm trying to come up with a good. I'm trying to really kind of put my head around who these other teams are that are going to be the teams that are going to be good. Okay, so Penn State is your number one preseason ranked team by a good number of the outlets. USA Today.
Are we buying this?
That's what I was going to ask you. Is USA Today has Penn State at number one of the Big Ten for their preseason ranking. Phil Steele, who, of course, we have quite a bit of. Phil Steele has Penn State at number one as well. Now, the biggest reason that they do this, you know what it is? Will Howard is not at Ohio State. That probably has a big part of it.
They don't know who their quarterback is. Penn State does.
Penn State has Drew Aller, who, by the way, I get it. I think he had a decent. He obviously had a great showing in the offseason. Did they win 2 games or 3? They won their quarterfinal game, and then I think they beat.
They won their first round. They won their first round game.
They won their first round game against SMU. They blew them out.
Yes,
and then they beat.
Boise in the Fiesta Bowl, and then they lost to. Was it
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame in the semifinal,
and it was a pretty good game.
Yeah,
and Penn State, I think, outperformed what people thought, because they went to the Big Ten championship game, and I think that people thought, okay, it should have been Oregon and Ohio State for a rematch.
Right.
And they ended up getting the rematch with Oregon and Ohio State, and that did not go well for Oregon. Penn State had a little bit of an easier path. People criticize that also. So the question is, are they for real? Is Penn State better than Ohio State, JJ?
I'm not buying that.
Is Penn State better than Oregon?
I'm not buying that either.
Is Penn State better than Illinois?
Yes.
Is Penn State better than Michigan?
Yes.
Is Indiana the 6th best team in the Big Ten? Have we totally gotten over those guys now?
Not this year.
Because that's what the 6th best team in the Big Ten, according to the preseason polls, have Indiana at that 6th spot. Now, obviously they
had a breakthrough year last year.
Amazing. I don't know if I don't.
How much of that was schedule?
They had what we would call an easier go, right?
It wasn't supposed to be, but it turned out to be.
Where do teams like Wisconsin, who are usually in this conversation before we're talking about them now, or Nebraska, or Iowa, or how about freaking USC? We're talking about these. USC is considered the 9th best team in the Big Ten this year.
Washington
10th? Down, my
Middle
guy.
of the road.
Not good.
They were in the national championship game.
This is a conference with Purdue and Northwestern that are kind of the laughingstocks right now as
Luke
programs.
Fickell took Cincinnati to the playoff.
Yeah, and now he could lose his job at Wisconsin if he doesn't do a good enough job.
And they're not going to be that good.
No.
Michigan State is tied for 13th in their preseason poll with the Rutgers.
So let's do this, because there are tiers in this world, right?
Yeah.
There are tiers. Where do Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon belong? In their own tier? Is Ohio State? Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon, own tier.
Yeah, those are the playoff teams.
Okay, those are the playoff contenders.
And I think Illinois could sneak in.
Illinois is going to be good.
Altmaier's really, really good. I think Bielema, you can have your opinions about him. The dude knows how to win. He's building something there.
See, Luke Altmaier's getting
the quarterback matters.
Luke Altmaier is a quarterback that gets more attention for Illinois and Ohio State. People just assume, well, they bring in quarterbacks and they win. Oregon, they bring in quarterbacks of that system and they win. But the actual guy who got the winning done last year was coming off a 10-win season was Luke Altmaier. Illinois could sneak into there, but I think that you're right. They've got to do more. Nobody considers the Fighting Illini.
Will there be 4 teams from the Big Ten in the college football playoff like there were last year?
Good question. I'm going to go no. I'm going to say no. Because Illinois could sneak in. I don't think Michigan's back yet either.
And I don't buy Michigan either.
I think Sharon Moore has a lot of work to be done to be able to get back to that national championship type of a deal.
They have momentum. They beat Ohio State.
Kurt Cignetti and Indiana. I just wonder if Fernando Mendoza can get it done for you at quarterback. You bring in a strong transfer, great, but who knows?
How strong of a transfer is he really?
Don't know.
He was playing at Cal.
I think your college football playoff teams are Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon. And I think those are the 3 that get in. Now, who are we shorting on this? Because we haven't even mentioned, we don't even mention them as a hiss or a byword, JJ, UCLA. The Bruins aren't even considered a team, I feel like, in this.
Well, where are they picked to finish? Not great.
What is it?
15th.
Out of 18.
18.
So who's worse than them? I'm going to go
Maryland. Any other guesses on the last 2?
Yeah, Northwestern and Purdue.
Correct.
Okay.
So, speaking of UCLA, Utah better win that opener. Utah better win that opener.
You're not believing in Nico?
He's all right. The rest of the team's not great.
No, it's the quarterback. And he's considered the 6th best quarterback in the Big Ten. JJ. Yeah. They're like, have you ever played the Big Ten? No. Well, we'll make you the 6th best quarterback. How about that? Hey, Devin Dampier, you ever played in the Big 12? No.
I mean, we got to give Nico some love. I mean, he was at Tennessee. He has won a bowl game for them. He has been in the college football playoff. But how much weight can he pull there with that program? Because there's not a lot of meat on the bone.
Nope. I agree.
You couldn't exactly make a stew with that UCLA roster. If you
got
know
yourself
what I mean.
a stew. Carl Weathers, may he rest. So yeah, I'm just one of those people that wonder if these preseason rankings. If we are so far off in the preseason rankings for that, like SEC, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of it's a mess at the top there too.
Who are the playoff teams in the SEC?
So then, if I say that there are only going to be 3 that get in the Big Ten, that probably means that they're going to be 4 getting there from the SEC.
Whoa. Yeah.
And I would be totally secure in naming these my 4 teams: Texas, Georgia, Alabama. You ready?
Yeah.
South Carolina.
I agree with you. I think South Carolina is going to be the 4th.
LSU. I know that they're considered. I mean, I think they just get votes. So the preseason poll goes Texas, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, South Carolina. And when I say South Carolina, I mean they're way below LSU on the how many people got them votes in their preseason media polls.
Right.
Oklahoma has no business being even anywhere near that, but fine. Okay? You know who is an absolute disaster right now is Auburn.
Yeah.
So guess who had the worst recruiting class in the Big 12 except for Mississippi State? They lost Auburn. Hugh Freeze, and did you see this too? He took a lot of flack because he's been marking all of his golf scores down on the USGA website for his handicap.
No way.
And so every one of your rounds gets logged when you log it right there so that it keeps your handicap. And he logged every one of them. And people are like, why are you playing 2 times a day, coach?
Oh, my gosh.
This is recruiting season.
He's golfing?
He has the worst recruiting class that Auburn has had in a long, long time. They lost the recruiting battle to Vanderbilt, to Ole Miss. Here's what you can't afford to do. They never even lost the recruiting battle to teams like South Carolina or LSU ever.
Yeah.
Maybe LSU, but not South Carolina, not Vanderbilt, not even Florida in recent years.
So South Carolina's picked to finish 5th, below LSU, but I look at their schedule, and I'm seeing this team at
Is it going to be tough?
11-1.
Ooh. So they have a favorable schedule then.
They open with Virginia Tech on a Sunday night. They win that game in Georgia. It's going to be in Atlanta, neutral site.
Love it.
South Carolina State, Vanderbilt, easy win. Missouri, I think they're better than Missouri. And that's going to be in Columbia. It could be a test for them, but that's not playing Georgia, right? And then they play Kentucky, flip a coin at home. Then they go to LSU. That's their swing game. If they beat LSU, the team picked ahead of them, which they very well could, with their quarterback, who I think is really good, then all of a sudden you have something. Oklahoma in South Carolina, I think they win that. Alabama's going to Columbia this year. They do have to go to Ole Miss in Oxford. And Texas A&M is in College Station. But you just look at their schedule and then ending with Clemson. They've got the big names games on their schedule, but they don't have to play Georgia and Florida and Alabama and LSU. I think they're set up for success coming off the season they had last year with a quarterback that's really good with the experience they have. I would say South Carolina could be that fourth SEC team, and I think they're definitely getting 4. So if they get 4 and the Big Ten gets 3, Notre Dame gets 1, Group of 5 gets 1, that means that the Big 12 and the ACC are fighting for 3 spots. And we know that the ACC got 2 out of those 3 last year. So if you're in the Big 12, you're hoping that what I just said about South Carolina doesn't work out, that maybe they slip up at Missouri and they get beat at LSU, and LSU has some stumbles, and the SEC only gets 3. Because if the SEC gets 4, it's probably a bid stealer for the Big 12.
I've got a top 10 here coming up in just a little bit. A list, and I know it's going to be shocking. We never do this.
We never do lists.
Money. It's going to be dealing with money. You know I love my lists that have money dealing with it. Come on. So a top 10 that has to deal with money. Our producer, Alex Napolis, will get involved and likely blow it for JJ, who had a perfect score the other day, by the way, a 10. A 10 out of 10. We haven't had that in a while. So
probably not going to give me more geography top 10s.
No. I learned my lesson there.
I'd appreciate that, though.
When we did European capitals, I thought that was, by population, I thought I gave it to you too easy. What was it the other day, though, for real?
The top 10 I got?
Oh, no, it was the 10 latest added states by
it was
date,
the last.
basically.
That was the last states admitted to
added.
the union.
Yeah. And JJ,
The last 10.
JJ admitted Mississippi wasn't like.
I almost got him in order.
He did it like, boom, nailed it. While our producer Alex just answered phones. Tried to get a contest winner. All right, we'll come back.
I'm going to need you today, Alex.
All right, we got a top 10 coming up next. Stay here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. I wanted to find one of these, like when they show up to heaven and they're giving hugs to the other. It's like, oh, getting hugs from Janis Joplin. And you're like,
Do
really?
we really think all these other artists are waiting for the other artists
No, they're
at the
not.
gate?
No, they're not. Let's stop doing it.
So weird.
I will say there was a funny one where
I've seen sports ones.
I've seen a fun. Yes, when
Where
the athletes
Kobe's
are,
waiting to hug Pele.
Oh my!
Like, what are we doing?
Is Pele? He's no longer with us.
No, Alex, he passed. Yeah.
Did we send out an alert on it? Or
So I just told Alex that Pele died. He told me Ozzy died the other day. So
I
now
know.
we're even.
So now we're even.
But Pele was a while ago.
Yeah, it was.
I just missed Ozzy by an hour or two.
You just missed him. I did see a funny meme where he's trying to get through the pearly gates and the guy holding the clipboard is a bat, which was awkward because obviously,
yeah, that bat might
hold a grudge. Might hold a grudge. All right, JJ, I've got a top 10 here for you. How does the top 10 work? Well, I give you a category, and then you have 60 seconds to give me the top 10 of this list that I'm asking for. You get help from our producer, Alex. We also have a timer that goes off. Want to mention, by the way, if you have an awesome product that you want to be able to get out there to the universe, you want to be able to make that product really shine, get it on the KSL Sports Zone. Get JJ and I endorsing that thing, and it's going to take off, all right? I had awesome partnerships for years on this program and also on all of the programs that I've ever been a part of. I love being able to really kind of highlight our awesome local businesses and make those things fly, man. So if you want to have that happen, text JJ to 57500. That's just JJ to 57500. JJ to 57500, and then our sales staff will get a hold of you, and we'd love to meet you. We'd love to come up with a great plan on how to get your business absolutely tip-top and flying off of the shelves, man. All right. JJ, I have a top 10 here for me. It is a money one, like I said, and this one is the top 10 donors, the top 10, like how the schools in terms of donor receptions that they've had.
Okay.
This is 2007 through 2024, okay? So college football programs with the most donor-added dollars to their program since 2007 to 2024. You ready?
Sure.
You got yourself 60 seconds up on the board. Alex, are you participating in this today? Okay. All right. And on your mark, get set, go.
Georgia, Alabama, Texas,
Ding,
Arkansas,
ding.
Notre Dame.
Wait, did you say Arkansas?
I did.
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame. South Carolina.
Ohio
Florida.
State.
What did you say over here?
Ohio State.
Michigan.
Did you say Florida?
I said Florida.
Ding.
Florida State. Clemson.
Ding. Wait, what was Clemson?
USC. UCLA. Washington.
Did you say Oregon?
Ding.
Texas Tech.
This goes back
Ole
15
Miss.
years.
Stanford. 15 years. Miami.
LSU?
Ding.
What else have we been missing? How many have we got so far?
I don't know how many you've gotten, but I definitely
Georgia.
know some that you've
Georgia
missed.
Tech.
Georgia was a ding. You already said Georgia.
Okay. So,
Oh, that's the time.
crap. I hit a wall there. I thought I started pretty well.
I feel like we got 10.
Did not get 10. I know for sure
Who did we miss?
one or two you did not get. So number 10 was Florida State. Auburn, number 9.
Oh, we missed Auburn.
Didn't mention Auburn. Oklahoma, number 8. Mentioned Oklahoma. LSU, number 7. Mentioned LSU. Number 6 on the list at $670 million of donations for over that 15 years of 2007 to 2024. Oklahoma State. It's that T. Boone Pickens money.
What happened to that money?
It's not
What
turning
happened?
It's not turning into wins. Although I will say, over that 15 years, Mike Gundy and his program were pretty darn good
Yeah, better than they've been.
until last year.
True.
Georgia 5, Florida 4, Texas 3, Texas A&M 2, and Oregon at almost $1 billion of donations
Bill
just
Knight. Holy crap.
in that 15-year stretch. You got yourself almost $1 billion just in This is not like this is just donations, just donors.
That's
throwing that
insane.
money. And what's crazy about it is too, because they did a full top 50. Ohio State was out of the top 10. So was Alabama.
That shocks me.
Ohio State was 11, Alabama 12, Virginia was 13. Virginia's 13, right behind Alabama. Yeah. And even in the top 20, South Carolina, Clemson, Iowa, Michigan, those are all teams that should be there.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Kansas football, $459 million. And then Louisville,
Where was Kansas?
19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Texas Tech was only 23rd on that list, I think, because the money really started rolling
They're
in
playing
just over
catch-up.
the last couple years.
That's fair.
But top 30, Arizona's in the top 30.
No Utah?
No Utah.
Wow.
Iowa's in the top 30. Washington's in the top 30.
For
Texas Tech's in
Utah
the
to
top 30.
be a perennial top 25 program basically over the last 2 decades without that kind of money
Crazy.
That's a lot.
I'm all the
Says a
way.
lot.
I'm all the way to the top 40. No Utah. No BYU. I'm all the way to the top 50 now. No Utah, no BYU.
That says
Top
a lot
50.
about those programs.
Yeah, it also shows you, too.
Without the massive donations.
Yeah. Oh, man. I was just looking at this picture they have up of Cam Scadaboo next to the Arizona State one. Did you see him and Jackson Dart on that social media page where he's holding Jackson's helmet? Wow. So Jackson Dart is signing 1 million autographs at the Giants camp. And Cam is just standing behind him. He's wearing his helmet that has one of those big foam, or like the big, what are they called? The Guardian caps?
Yeah, the Guardian caps, yeah.
And then he's got Jackson Dart's helmet on top of his. And he's already like 5'9" or whatever it is. And Jackson Dart is like 6'4". And he's standing next to him, and he just looks like a short dude who looks like a. And then they both put their helmet on at the or he gives him his helmet, he puts his helmet on, and then they bash heads together, which is not a good plan against Cam Scadaboo. And then they're like, "Let's go!" I was like, "What kind of a funny superhero group is this?" Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo together again. Just like the two that you thought would not necessarily be like buddy. No, they are. I mean, they're rookies going into the same camp, so maybe they would. That's what they share. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go around the corner. You don't want to miss it. Stay here, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on The Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen. I told you now that I can't unsee the big conferences, I can't unhear the difference now that the Hulk is no longer with us. And, of course, the Macho Man Randy Savage, that's another one of those paintings in heaven, those two meeting each other. Yeah, the 24-inch pythons. Like, I can't, the Big Ten, like the way they put their elbows out, you know, the SEC, Notre Dame, and the Big Ten, when they're all fighting one another, I'm like, we're all looking, snickering across the room. But the reality is that they fight about things amongst one another because the real estate fight is real between those teams. And Notre Dame's a weird one. And it's one that doesn't sit well with guys like James Franklin, for example, in Big Ten Media Days. Let's jump into the next part of the hour here. Our show brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar the perfect protein bar. Give it a shot today. You can test it out. Holiday Oil, Maverick, Associated Foods, and Costco, and many other retailers in the refrigerated section. Let's start off with the cut this hour. Let's get down to business with the with Greg Sankey and James Franklin and the SEC versus Notre Dame versus the Big Ten. It's all a big mess, and we love it. Let's get to it.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. TRAJANwealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. TrajanWealth.com. All right. Let's take a listen. This is James Franklin. Before the Orange Bowl last year, he kind of went at Notre Dame. By the way, they lost to Notre Dame. But he brought up that, he felt like that because of the fact that they're an independent program, their conference schedule, it's a debate of whether or not they're playing the toughest schedule that you can face, and at the very least, the one thing that he brings up, it's not just this apples to apples like opponent comparison. It's more like you're not in a conference. Every game is like this like one-off weird feeling to it. There are some rivals in there, but kind of not really. They don't really mean that much because there's no conference that they have to report to, so to speak. And here's what he said. He reiterated it. He stood by it. And he also called out the SEC at the same time going, yeah, and they need to play 9 games or we need to play 8 games. But we can't just like all go in there and assume that it's the same level playing field when everybody is playing against kind of a different set of opponents. And here's what he had to say about it. Here's what James Franklin said at Big Ten Media Days.
We played West Virginia non-conference. We played Auburn non-conference and had success in all of them. The good thing is we all have the ability to build our programs the way we see best. coach has the ability to build his program how he thinks best, and we have the ability to do that at Penn State as well. The thing that I struggle with is the same thing I've been talking about for a long time, and this doesn't change. Everybody has to play the same number of conference games. Like, this ain't that hard, right? Everybody should be playing 8, or everybody should be playing 9. I was in that other conference when the whole discussion about going to 9 games was voted on. Everybody should be either play a conference championship game, or everybody shouldn't play conference championship. Everybody should be in a conference. I said that last year at a press conference before playing Notre Dame. Everybody thought I was slighting Notre Dame. I've been saying that for 10 years. If I didn't say it in that moment when I was asked the question, I'd be a hypocrite. Like, I'm going to say it now because I've been saying it the whole time. And that's not a knock, but you're asking a group of people to get into a room and decide the best 12 or 16 teams in college football, and you're not comparing apples to apples. The other thing is when you try to compare a non-conference schedule from a conference that plays 8 compared to a conference that plays 9, it's going to look different. We already have another power conference team on our schedule. They're required to play another power conference. They have to because they only play 8 games. We traditionally have never played FCS teams. Other conferences are playing FCS. But then you get these media members that we know are not true national media members. They're homers to certain conferences. We have them in the Big Ten. Other people have them as well. And then they get on and pound the table about people's schedules. You're not comparing the same things. It's not going to look the same. We're already playing 9 conference games. Where does it make sense? If you look, when the Big Ten first went to 9 games, you could make the argument maybe the worst decision the Big Ten has ever made. Just mathematically, we were going to have more losses. We were going to beat each other up. Over the last 2 years, we've been more strategic about that. It's worked out pretty well. So there's an easy solution to this. Everybody play the same number of games. Everybody play a conference championship. And then everything else will take care of itself. We were sold in the Big Ten all those years when we went to 9 games. That strength of schedule was going to determine the teams that got into the 4-team playoff. That never played out to be the case. It never played out to be the case. Scheduling non-conference late games in the year, which sometimes can almost be like a bye week late in the season. All these things are strategies that you have to decide what puts your institution, your program in the best position to be successful. The good thing is the way it's set up right now, we all have the choice to do that. And all the criticisms that come in either direction, they're great for conversations and they're great for people getting angry and upset, but I'm not angry.
Kind of took a shot at everybody there, right? You do a non-conference game in, I don't know, let me just think off the top of my head, November against an FCS team or a low ranked, a very, very bottom of the barrel FBS team. They're kind of giving yourself a bye week. I wonder who he was talking about.
That other conference?
The other conference. The thing is all the things that James Franklin said, can't disagree with him. I can't disagree with him.
No, he's right. There needs to be uniformity.
I'm not asking you. Here's the real problem, and I think that guys get this mixed up too. They think, oh, they're going to get into the college football playoff committee room, and they're going to shut that door at the hotel, and they're going to go, let's make this happen. And they go, we want the comparison to be apples to apples. It's never going to be that way, but you got to get as close as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, these conferences, if they all played each other, if they were all in the same conference, and they all had the exact schedule, that would be the only version of there being an apples-to-apples comparison. So the SEC gives you a different quality of football. It's not necessarily the best top to bottom. The Big Ten gives you a certain quality of football. Top heavy, bottom very, very light. Big 12 no top heavy anybody, but it's a good conference across probably 10 teams, right? 10 or 12 teams are really, really difficult to beat. But they play a 9-game schedule in conference. And most of them add a 10th and sometimes even an 11th power game during the year. The SEC tries to figure out a way, and we've already attacked the SEC about this same thing at the same time. But as an independent and one of the only ones that have ever made it work, if not the only one that's ever really made it work, if we're being honest with ourselves, even BYU fans, Tom Holmoe did a great job, but nobody thought that was an ideal situation. Notre Dame, on the flip side, thinks that they are in a perfect situation. Ask them. They're like, this works for us. We love it. We'll never join a conference.
Why do they need to? They got their massive TV deal with NBC. They don't want to share that. They don't want to give that up. Why would they go join a conference? There's no benefit to them for that. They've got the scheduling agreement with the ACC. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason to. Okay. Nobody's forcing them to do it. There's why would they change? You tell me if you like the schedule that Notre Dame plays. It's not just the teams. It's about the fact that there's not really anything on the line, so to speak, for any of these games, right? They're doing something similar to what BYU had to do every time, which was just win all the games so you can. Because the Northern Illinois loss last year almost took them completely out of it. But because of where it was in the schedule, they kind of got away with it, right? Because that was their one loss of the year. Tell me if this is a college football playoff committee quality schedule, okay? Notre Dame and Notre Dame and Miami, they go to Miami. That's a good start. They host Texas A&M. That's a nice game as well. They host Purdue. It's a Power 4 team. It is. Technically. They go to Arkansas. That's a good road trip. They host Boise State. Okay. They host NC State. Yeah. They host USC. Okay. They go to Boston College. Those are the ACC games. I mean, every team plays bottom of the barrel conference games. Is Boston College in ACC? Oh, I was looking at the next one. They host Navy, and Navy is down. Yeah, they play the academies. They're in the American, and they play the academies a lot. That's their FCS lower level opponent. They go to Pitt, even though they're FBS. Right. They go to Pitt. Okay. ACC game. They host Syracuse. ACC game. And then they round off the season against Stanford. Rivalry game. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 power. That's a good schedule. Power schedule. I think Notre Dame has a really good schedule. They got a great schedule. But does the argument of, but it's not a conference, and so it's not the same because there's no conference standings. It feels like an ACC schedule. Now, I will say this, though. I think their schedule is fine. It's an ACC schedule without having to play the ACC championship game. Right. Right? And so that's the other part of it. That's fair. Because, and the weird way that this thing shakes out in the Big Ten is, the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes actually got a little bit of a break because they didn't have to play in the Big Ten championship game. It's not the first time Ohio State's gotten a break. Let me tell you right now too, if they go to the Big Ten championship game in a rematch against Oregon and they beat Oregon, that actually probably would have boded well for Oregon. Oregon would have probably had a better matchup in the second. They would have got a better draw. They wouldn't have had to play the bye. They wouldn't have had the tough matchup in the first in the Rose Bowl. It's a weird setup. We still haven't figured it out. It's still 1 million times better than what we've seen in the past. Yeah. And when you get to 16 teams, the good news is you have other teams getting in, and I think that's better for the game too. So I see what he's saying. Notre Dame has a 10-game schedule, or has a 10 power conference teams that they're playing, and the ones that aren't power conference are Boise State, arguably one of the best G5 teams you can play. And then who did we say? Navy. Oh, and then Navy. And normally on a year that when that was on the schedule, they always Coach play Ken Navy. Was I know, and they've had good years, and they've had bad years, and they've been mostly good over the past little while, right? But now they're in a dip. So when you looked at it, when you do an actual metric of strength of schedule, I think that schedule will work out fine, right? But I mean, you don't look at it and go, where are the superpowers on this list here? Miami, okay. Yeah, there's a team
Texas
that was
A&M?
in the playoff conversation last year. Boise State made the playoff last year.
Texas A&M. It's
They
a
were
big
in the
name.
college football playoff rankings last year.
It's a big name.
Yeah.
Right. But Purdue might be the worst team on this list, and I know it's technically a power school. Arkansas, don't know if they're going to be any good. NC State, meh, as a program. So, anyway, I'm not trying to.
I think it's a good schedule. I think if Notre Dame goes 11-1 with that schedule and they make the playoff again, I'd be like, okay, I don't know what that one loss is going to be.
Yeah, it's just,
and that would weigh into it as well.
But again, you're talking about teams that are going to play 13 games and then play a conference championship game.
Unless
you're
Ohio State.
And then they'll play, right, that's what I'm saying. Unless some of these teams that are not, the only reason that they're not is because but they're still in the conversation of the college football playoff. And so Notre Dame not playing a conference championship game, they love it. They love it.
Indiana didn't play a conference championship game.
Right, and they loved it because they're like, good. We don't have to take another
Good.
L.
No one's going to expose us until we actually get to the playoff.
Until we actually get our butts kicked in the playoffs. Yeah. So the thing that matters the most, I'm less concerned about Notre Dame. That's one team. And they have a lot of games on their schedule, and most of them are power conference opponents. They're just all over the place. And the games don't really have anything attached to them. There's nothing on the line except for just from a wins and losses perspective, right? There's no conference anything that goes into this. The 8-game SEC schedule is a freaking joke, and everybody is starting to realize it more and more, and we need to really expose that. There's no point of that. It's got to change.
And until they do, we're just going to call them the other conference.
The other conference.
Did you see Greg Sankey's response
What was it?
Coach Franklin's
Who
remarks?
said that? Never heard of it.
He just took to Twitter. He took the SEC graphic, replaced the S, the E, and the C with TOC for that other conference. That was his response. Last night.
You know what? I love it.
Greg Sankey spent his pioneer day on Photoshop.
I just love the idea of going, hey, can we get one of these kids? Can we get one of these kids to make one of these graphics?
Yeah, how did he get that graphic made? Because we know he didn't make it.
Oh, of course not. I like that, Mike. What was your name, Mike? Oh, it's Craig? Well, listen, let's give you a raise. Oh, you're an unpaid intern. Well, God bless you.
Well, good, because we appreciate your volunteerism, because it just means more.
It just means more. This other conference and that other conference. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More to go around the corner. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You know what that music means, of course. We're bringing you the most important NFL news as we get ready for the NFL season to fire up. JJ, I was happy to see that. I don't know if you saw the Jackson Dart, one of his first reps in 11-on-11 work that they've done with the Giants is to throw pick six in the red zone, no less.
Welcome to the league, Rook.
I know, right? Aaron Rodgers, his first pass in the 11-on-11s for the Steelers of Pittsburgh threw not a pick six, but he did throw an interception, very first pass. It happens to the best of them, JJ.
Yes, it does.
According to Aaron Rodgers, he's the best of them. So
he was the best of them.
he's look, it happens to everybody. I know people freak out about this stuff.
We should not pay so much attention to preseason reps.
We talked about it the other day.
Especially at the start of training camp.
Course.
Come on, what are we doing?
We talked about it the other day. Brian Daboll, the best thing he could have done for Jackson Dart is to say he's not the starter.
100%.
And so that's...
Go get two veterans. Let him earn his way. Let him figure some things out. Let him watch what Russell Wilson does, even though Russell Wilson's not at the top of his game anymore. Let him watch somebody who's won a Super Bowl and should have won two. Learn from him, figure it out. You don't have to be pushed out there immediately. I think it's going to hurt Cam Ward in Tennessee that he's got to go out there day one and try to run this franchise. It's not easy to do, and it's not fair to ask somebody who hasn't done it before to go out there and do it. Patrick Mahomes had an entire year to sit out. Jordan Love had a year or two to sit out, and it benefited those guys tremendously. And we've seen too many quarterbacks like Zach Wilson get absolutely wrecked early on in their careers because they were thrust into a situation they weren't ready for.
Yeah, but what about Jaden Daniels? What about C.J. Stroud? You know
I know,
what I mean?
right? There are exceptions. And why were those guys... Okay, you brought it up. Let's discuss it.
I have no idea.
Why was Jaden Daniels successful year one? surrounded by quality veterans, really good coaching staff, really good defense.
Pressure kind of off, too. No one's going to be like, hey, you better start winning immediately in Washington, D.C. It's like
100%.
Come on.
Low expectations, right? Same thing in Houston. They were the bottom of the barrel. They were not a very good football team.
Great defense.
But you had a head coach come in who had a mentality that carried into the defense. They had guys step up on that side of the ball. Their offense was terrible, but then you bring in this kid who can sling the ball, and he had really good receivers to throw the ball to and a good run game, so that helped him as well. So you can start that guy young, but history tells us you better have a good supporting cast.
Sorry, I can't get away from Aaron Rodgers because there was another quote that he threw out there. You ready?
Yeah.
He said, look, there are only 10 or 12 teams that are going to be good enough to win the Super Bowl this year.
He's right.
And I thought, only 10 or 12? That's a lot. Now, the NFL is kind of one of the only leagues. The NHL is a little bit like this where you go, look, throw 10 teams in there. You can't say that about most of the leagues. You don't look at Major League Baseball and go, there are 10 teams that can win the World Series. No, absolutely
there's 3
not.
or 4.
NBA, same thing in the NBA.
3 or 4.
Yeah, you don't.
And we're in the era in the NBA where there's never been more parity. You still can't come up with a half dozen teams that can win a championship.
So Aaron Rodgers says it might be actually more like 8 to 10, but if it's 10 to 12, I think we're in that conversation. Which I thought,
who are those teams?
Let me tell you.
Let's say there's 10 teams in the league. Who are the 10 teams?
Let me give you at least what Vegas says those teams are.
Okay,
by the odds. Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs. Those are 3 out of those 4, by the way, are AFC teams, right?
Correct.
The Ravens, Bills, Eagles, Chiefs. Those are your top
agree with that.
odds getters. Now, Ravens number 1, Bills 2, Eagles 3, Chiefs 4, and it's kind of negligible between those picks, between those numbers.
Those are clearly the 4 best teams in the league. Yeah.
Then the Lions. I was shocked that this was the team right after, but the Rams, does that shock you at all that they'd be right after the
No, they were one play away from beating the Eagles last year in the playoffs. They're good.
Commanders, 49ers, Vikings, Packers. So now we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Packers are 10. Is there 2 more?
Let's go to 12. Yeah, let's go to just to 12. 11 is the Bengals by the odds.
Mm-hmm.
And 12 is actually a tie between the Chargers and the Texans.
Okay. The Steelers are not in there.
Steelers are not in there. There was one betting source. I guess there was one betting house that actually had put them at 11. And I don't know if it's because Aaron Rodgers said what he did, but there were definitely a lot of teams so it takes down to
I'm a Broncos fan and I have no problem with that Vegas list.
The Broncos are 13 are tied for 12th.
Just not quite there yet.
Or no, they're 13th. The Buccaneers are 14th. I'd put them ahead of the Steelers.
Yep.
The Cardinals
are ahead of the Steelers on the Vegas odds?
The Cardinals are ahead of the Bears.
Oh, my gosh.
On those, and then they're ahead of the Steelers. My favorite part of all this is that the Dallas Cowboys are behind all of those teams that I've just previously mentioned. So there you go. Now
Jerry's got to be upset about that.
The rough one is my Seahawks.
Oh.
Find themselves in the
rebuild.
In the pits. Yeah. And if you're talking about the very worst odds in the league, how about the Saints? How about the Jets? Those are your worst 2 by far. The Saints actually far and away the worst.
We know the Saints are going to be bad this year. I love that people in New York think the Jets have an upside this year. They're going to be so disappointed.
Yeah, they're going to be extremely disappointed. But again, what's crazy is you have in. Why are the Jets expected to do more than the Giants, by the way, every year?
I have no idea.
You know what I mean? Isn't that the vibe that you get, though?
Always.
Why is
There's
it
always
the Jets?
It's the Jets are finally going to turn the corner. The Jets did this. The Jets did that.
The Giants have always been the way better franchise.
Why do we spend so much
things.
time talking about a franchise that's done nothing? They haven't been in the playoffs in forever. They have the longest streak of missing the postseason in North American sports. Every year, though, we talk about the Jets.
How many of these
because they're in New York.
How many of these teams are in the AFC North or not the AFC North, the AFC South or the NFC South? Ready? You've got yourself my music ran out. I got to get otherwise I don't have my mojo. Saints at the very bottom.
Yep.
Jets, also next to that's an AFC East team.
Yes.
The New York Giants, that's an NFC East team.
Correct.
The Browns, AFC North.
Yep.
Titans, AFC South. Panthers, NFC South.
Bad league, yep.
Raiders, AFC West, obviously.
Interesting.
The Dolphins are AFC. So more AFC East teams and
Dolphins are lower than
the Colts. They're lower than the Colts and the Patriots and the Jaguars and the Falcons.
Wow, I don't know about that.
I don't either.
If Tua's healthy, I think they could be pretty good.
I get it. They made some moves in the offseason. They dropped more talent than I think that they got in return. Yeah. But I do think that the Colts, Patriots, and Jaguars are all still pretty darn bad.
I agree.
But if you're talking about odds, if you're talking about who those teams should be in there, I have no clue why Aaron Rodgers thinks that his Steelers should be in that top 10 group.
He has to believe.
The good news is, out of those groups of teams who are the possible, the best odds to win the Super Bowl, you're talking about the Bills who've never won a Super Bowl. You're talking about the Lions who've never won a Super Bowl. You're talking about really, who would be a bigger boost to that, to winning the Super Bowl than those teams? The Lions getting their first Super Bowl, the Bills getting their first. The Rams, that's kind of I know it's L.A.
Well, how about
the Rams?
How about the Commanders?
The Commanders are
after being bad for so
yes.
long, finally winning a Super Bowl and coming full circle. That would be pretty. It would be a pretty cool story.
It would be amazing. So, there you go.
How about the Chiefs finally losing the AFC West?
Still a little bit of work to be done,
soon?
I think, for that. Yeah. I mean, who's it going to be then? Is it going to be the Broncos or the Chargers?
It's the Chargers.
The Chargers
I
and the
would love to see
Broncos
it be the
are
Broncos.
right by each other in terms of odds, right there.
Hey,
and a lot of that has to do solely. So there's two names, Justin Herbert. Actually, it goes Jim Harbaugh first, then Justin Herbert.
Right, and on the other side, it's Sean Payton and Bo Nix. Those are coach quarterback pairings that are up and coming in the league.
Dark horse for me, somebody who should be in the top 10 and is just outside of it, and I think should be probably talked a little bit more highly of, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do not hate what Baker Mayfield does. I know a lot of people. I hated that cat in college. I've come around on it, man.
I have too, because he got humbled and he had to fight his way back out of the mud. I respect that.
And he did do it.
I respect that.
And now suddenly he's a winner, man.
He seemed like a spoiled brat before, but the dude proved something to me. He's got my respect.
Anyway, speaking of spoiled brats, the quarterback for the Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, does have the same odds as Aaron Rodgers to win the Super Bowl. So
good for him.
There you go. And they're all
Next
ahead
to
of
none.
Dallas. And they're all ahead of Dallas, who are just bickering over your defensive ends contract. That's where they're at in their lives. And then their owner can't even come up with the right name for him.
He could get in a car crash or something. He's only going to play 6 games a year.
Michael Parson is a good guy. You're like, is he? Do you know his name? Oh, yeah, he's one of the best players we've ever had, Michael. What?
Oh, my gosh.
Can't say his name right. Michael Parson? That's how you know if you are on the board. There's no way to remove Jerry, is there?
No, there isn't.
Is there any mechanism inside of all of the ownership and all how that thing works to be able to say, son, if I'm not making the right decisions, if I'm calling our superstar player by the wrong name, you got to give me the cyanide pill.
Here's the
give
bad
me the football
news.
Cyanide pill.
It's just going to get worse.
Of course it is.
And if you're a Cowboys fan, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. All right, we'll take the break here, and we'll come back. We've got Best and Worst next. Stay right here. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Welcome back. It's JJ and Alex, final segment of the hour here. Thanks for being with us on the program. Alex Kirry, Jeremiah Jensen, and you. Thanks for being a part of the program every day. If you miss any portion of the show, you can always dive back into the archives with the podcast. Go see the podcast page there at KSLSports.com. Or you can download any of the shows all day long on the KSL Sports Zone, any place that you find fine podcasts. All right, JJ, Best and Worst is always brought to you by the good folks at the Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and, of course, in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. Well, we couldn't really figure out where to put this one, JJ. So I'm just going to let the audio speak for itself here, and that is a moment in time that we will never be able to get back. And that is, first of all, I owned the Hulk Hogan thumb wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But him and Rowdy Roddy Piper, dude. Those are my two thumb wrestlers that I had. And then I had the bigger version of Hulkamania, when he was really in his prime. And it was a guy that I looked up to as a kid. Obviously kind of a weird role model to have now.
Hey, I said my prayers and ate my vitamins because of this guy.
So here was a little bit of taste of what showmanship looked like in 1989 with Gene Okerlund, who, by the way, himself is a legend. But, of course, here we are. Hulkamania at its top, at its peak with the Hulkster. May he rest.
Gene, I got my pump back, man. You know, the pythons are ready, the largest arms in the world. And I'm glad they are because I checked this dude Hercules out, man. He's got the body of a god. He even looks like the real Hercules, and he's definitely stronger, man. But I checked the dude out even farther. He could have been a Greek god. He could have been an immortal. And you know something, Mean Gene? Since he's guided by Bobby the Weasel Heenan, I trained for the dude like he was an immortal, brother. I've been hanging out in the Garden of Eden with my main squeeze Eve. I dove 20,000 leagues under the sea, 40 nights and 40 days. I hung and bung on the Titanic and Hercules. This is where the power lies.
Just the point that I wanted to make, Hulk Hogan. Yes, there will be diverted attentions tonight with the presence of Hercules' new manager, Bobby Heenan.
Well, you know, it's the same old story with this weasel, man. He keeps throwing them at me, and I keep knocking them down. But you know, Hercules, you're just like everybody else, man. Top shelf you are because you're guided by Bobby the Weasel Heenan. But you're in my way, man. You're on my hit list, and you shall feel the pythons, brother. And when I'm done with you, hopefully I'll get that little weasel in this 24-inch python and squeeze his head. But I'm going to the top of the family, Mean Gene. Hercules, you shall feel the wrath of the pythons. You shall feel the wrath of Hulkamania.
Can't get better than that.
Oh, nostalgic.
I'll tell you what, we don't offer anything like that in any of the major sports, right? I mean, I don't know if anything gets close. Obviously,
look,
when I was a kid, I used to fight people over wrestling was fake, man, and I was like, how dare you? How dare you? Because how could you get this pumped up? Obviously, there were some substances involved in the late 80s. There was some things going on. But
Hulk Hogan is a complicated figure. Obviously, had his issues,
to say the least.
But there's no denying that he had a massive impact on both sports culture and pop culture. And all of us who grew up in that era in the 80s and 90s knew who Hulk Hogan was and were impacted by that and were influenced by that. Like I just said, say your prayers, eat your vitamins. We all heard all the things. We all called our arms pythons, right? Like he had a massive impact on sports and sports culture and pop culture over the years. And everybody, I think when they heard the news was floored by it, and a lot of people are sad about it. And it's, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan, because he was one of the premier sports figures of our time.
Worst thing that could have happened to the Hulkster was he did what so many people did, which was, I think we could do. They're offering us a reality show. We should take it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Keep your attention on the YouTube channel from the
His
1980s.
His post-wrestling life left a lot to be desired.
A little bit wild.
He could put on a show, man.
Yes, he did. May he rest. Okay. We will take the break here, and we'll come back again around the corner. You don't want to miss anything coming up here. Stay dialed in. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. It's JJ and Alex.